So I talk a lot about recognizing your states. And I thought it was important for me to do this video because right now I'm recognizing a state that I'm in. I have a tendency to become activated and almost immediately auscultate into shutdown. My shutdown is dissociating, becoming isolative, less communicative, kind of stuck in my own head. And I felt like it was important for me to make this video because what a better way to teach people how to regulate your nervous system than to walk people through my process. So I do videos all the time and I try to record them as I get inspiration. And then I kind of just stockpile them and then post them accordingly in the order that I want to put them in. And today I was trying to make a video talking about being overstimulated when you take your kids out in the winter and why that happens. And I will eventually record that and post it. But I got interrupted multiple times. I was trying to record in the car and I got interrupted. I was trying to record in my living room. I got interrupted numerous times and I started to get really frustrated. And I recognized I was being disproportionately upset to the situation. First of all, I didn't make an announcement. I was recording a video. So how could I expect the people in my home to know I was recording? I was just relaxing. Everyone was kind of doing their own thing. And I just decided to seize the opportunity. Earlier when I was in the car, the kids were just kind of chilling out, doing their own thing. I decided to seize the opportunity. There was no announcement. So I can't really get mad at anyone for interrupting me when I kind of just took advantage of a free moment and decided I'll try to eke out a video because I want to talk about this particular thing. And logically, I know really I got no one to blame but myself because ideally, if I didn't want to be interrupted, all I would have to say is, hey, listen, guys, I'm going to record a video, I'll let you know when I'm done, whatever the case may be. But I didn't do that. So I started feeling really activated. I was getting really antsy, frustrated, angry. I could feel the anger building in my chest. I was feeling flushed. I started to feel pressure at my temples, all of my indicators as to becoming activated. So I recognized that. And as I was trying to figure out, all right, why am I acting like this? Why is this bothering me so much? I could feel myself start going to shut down, disassociating. My first reaction to that is usually grab my phone and start doom scrolling. Kind of get a dopamine hit from, the instant gratification of scrolling and get that escapism. And I stopped myself and I started saying, okay, I know that this is not something to be this upset about. So why is this bothering me so much? And when I sat with it, after a few minutes, I realized the accidental interruptions were reminding me of when my previous partner would purposefully interrupt me engaging in something I wanted to do. That was a big abuse tactic they used to use. They would tell me, go ahead and do whatever, go do yoga, and then while I'm doing yoga, every couple of minutes they'd come in, they'd have something to say to me. They'd have a question to ask me. They'd need to show me something. They want me to go look at something. And they would just interrupt so much that eventually I would just stop doing it. I would just end the yoga video and just go about my day, never finishing yoga. And slowly over time, that type of behavior conditioned me to not ask for personal time, to not ask for time to do yoga, to engage in my other hobbies, to go out and have coffee with my friends, to go grab lunch with my friends. And it's coercive control. I've talked about this before. And I realized that the accidental interruptions, although was a completely different scenario, the fact that I was trying to do something that I enjoy doing, which is making videos, making content, educating people. I was doing something I enjoy doing, and I got interrupted repeatedly. And even though those interruptions were not malicious, were not a form of manipulation or coercive control. They were genuine accidents because they didn't even know I was recording, because I didn't announce it. My nervous system saw the similarity between that and the coercive control that took place in my past, and it activated the same response. It sent me into sympathetic nervous system activation. It put me into fight or flight. Fight or flight, when you can't physically fight or flee, other ways that shows up is getting angry, getting argumentative, being snappy, lashing out verbally at people. Those are all fight or flight responses. And because my nervous system, from being trained from years of abuses, I would get activated and then almost immediately start auscultating into shutdown, because I knew that speaking up would result in abuse. So the next thing was my nervous system shut me down to protect me from further abuse and trauma. And once I realized that, the anger dissipated. That presence of mind to see that similarity between my past and my present was integral in getting me out of that state and getting me back to more of a calm state of equilibrium. Because sometimes you need to literally talk yourself through it and remind yourself, okay, yeah, I can see the similarities, but I'm not there anymore. I'm not in my past. My husband, coming into the room when I was recording was because he didn't know I was recording. My kids interrupting me with a question wasn't my abuser from my past. They didn't know I was recording, and they had to ask mom a question. And that is one of the biggest parts of healing, and probably one of the hardest, is learning to have that presence of mind. Learning to recognize, okay, I'm getting way disproportionately upset to this. This is such a tiny thing, and I'm feeling this level of anger and fire inside of me. It doesn't make sense. And figuring out what is happening right now, and what is this reminding me of from my trauma? What is this reminding me of my abuse? And reminding yourself, this situation is not my past. These people are my kids, and my husband now are not trying to coercively control me. They're not trying to manipulate me or hurt me. I am safe. I am loved. And it's okay to get frustrated, but I need to remind my nervous system to remember where it is, and that even though there's similarities from my past and my present, they're not the same, and I am safe now. And I know it's a lot of work. I know that sometimes it feels like it's just so many steps, it's just so much thinking, it's so much processing, oh my God, when is this going to get easier? It does get easier. And I've said it before, me explaining to you this process took 10 times longer than it actually took to do inside my head. I was able to recognize my nervous system state, recognize that I was really disproportionately getting upset over what was going on. And I was able to think of my past, recognize the similarities, realize what my nervous system was doing, and remind myself that I am safe, and that what is happening right now is not the same thing that happened to me in my past. And it's okay to let that anger go, that I don't need to be hypervigilant right now. It took less than 2 minutes inside my brain to do that. Was it that quick when I first started this healing journey? No. But it's like anything else, it's training it's muscle memory. Once you learn the mechanism, once you learn the steps, it gets quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. And you're able to talk yourself through it and get yourself back to a state of equilibrium so much quicker. This was a pretty long video. I hope all of you stayed to the end to watch it. And I hope me discussing the process with you made what you're going through a little easier, and hopefully it will help some of you be able to do your own processing and nervous system regulation for things that you might be dealing with. So, as always, I'm Tracy. I'm a certified trauma coach and author, and I teach people to heal from trauma and abuse, regulate your nervous system, reclaim your authentic self, and if you're a parent, parent from peace. And I hope this was helpful. Please follow, like, and share so we can share the education and support to everyone who needs it.